roads lead you home. Most roads are unknown. These are the paranormal roads.
Hello everybody, this is Paranormal Roads. I am Jack.
And this is Mike.
And today we will be talking about satellites.
Yeah, that's right. There's been a lot in the news about satellites recently. The satellites we're referring to are artificial satellites made by man that have been around since 1957 with Sputnik. Remember the Russians?
Yeah.
Right? There's approximately over 1,000, maybe 1,100.
It's like a junkyard up there.
Yeah.
So there's like broken ones and...
Oh, yeah, exactly. Half of them were launched by the United States. The other 50%, who launches them? India, China, Russia,
Japan,
yeah, they
North
do that.
Korea,
right? And the United States, one of the most famous ones. Remember the Voyager 1 and 2, 1979, when they sent up that golden disc.
Yeah,
and this has been a lot in the news and Ancient Aliens lately. The golden disc and what it holds and what it might mean for future contact. But we'll get into all that later.
Okay.
One of the main reasons I wanted to do this show on satellites was, and it is, November 2014.
Yeah.
And recently, humanity has, for the first time, we've landed on a comet.
When I heard that, it was like, holy cow. Like, you didn't hear much about it until it happened.
Right. I didn't know about it. I didn't know anything about it. But this is a story that goes back 20 years.
Wow.
So the European Space Agency, which is the ESA,
yeah,
that's the agency that actually landed on the comet.
The United States had nothing to do with it.
Well, United States, NASA detected it.
Oh, they found the comet.
Right, they found the comet, and they named the comet 67P, and the mission from the European Space Agency was called the Rosetta mission. That's the name of the satellite, Rosetta.
Oh, okay. So you brought an audio in, so that audio came from this comet they landed on.
Yes, this audio came. Now the audio is sped up a bit, so you can hear it like over a long period of time.
Yeah.
But 20 years, I'll give you some backstory. 20 years ago, NASA discovered this comet, and they discovered that it has this strange signal coming from it that no comet really has. So they're like, They passed it over. They didn't want to do it. NASA's like, well, it's an anomaly. We don't want to waste our time with it. Well, the European Space Agency, they're like, well, what the heck is that? We need to go up there and find out what this is. We need to go send a satellite up there to see what's up. So 20 years ago, they started, and they planned, and this satellite was launched 10 years ago.
And this is different people working on this. I wonder how many people...
Right, I'm not super familiar with
the 1-year time. I wonder how many scientists actually participated.
Right, and it's amazing. 20 years, and then I guess they've actually been circling the comet for a little while.
Oh,
taking photographs of it, and they've come up with some,
Do they get more audio from it other than what from 20 years ago, or does it? I wonder if it's made the same sound again, or
if they haven't told anybody about it. So let's play the audio clip so people can get a taste of what this sounds like.
Okay, we're gonna play that right now.
All right. So, as you heard the video, or the audio, and what you hear is radio bursts coming from inside the comet.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yes.
When does radios come out of anything?
Yes, like when people create radio waves.
Right, when people create radio waves. So people are like, that's why the European Space Agency went up there. They're like, I don't care if it takes us 100 years, we got to go and find out what this is.
And it sounded to me like a language.
That's right. So they orbited it for a while, this comet 67P, and there was a part of the satellite that came off, like a little lander, like when the United States went to space.
Yeah.
Little, just part of the spaceship went down.
It was supposed to, like, stick to this comet.
Right, like the Mars rover.
Yeah.
It was supposed to bounce, land, unfurl itself.
Yeah.
Get, the sun would make it, power it, and it would go explore. Solar power. Well, the name of that orbiter was Philae.
Okay.
Is the way they pronounce it.
Oh, so this was a movable rover, or?
Yeah, it was just like the Mars rover with wheels.
Okay.
It looked very similar, but I think it was a little smaller.
From TV, I thought it was supposed to be, like, hooked into it. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
I thought they said it was supposed to, like, hook into it so it wouldn't move.
Well, I knew it did move. Maybe it wasn't wheels. Maybe I'm misunderstood. It could have been supporting legs that moved up and down. Maybe that's what got the movement.
They wanted to drill and stuff and get experiments.
Yeah. So they launched this, and this satellite cost $1.62 billion.
Wow.
And that was 10 years ago, so it'd probably be triple that now.
Yeah.
So they launched it in 2004 with the hopes of being the first spacecraft to orbit and land on a comet, which it did. It landed. And
give them some kudos. It landed.
Yeah, November 14th.
But it goes fishy after that, right?
Right. So this is where, me and the conspiracies theories. So they spent all this time, billions of dollars to get this thing up there.
Orbits for years.
Orbits, lands. Now I understand they said that, it had a rough landing and it was in a hole and the sun couldn't get to it. Still, that might be true. But there had to be some battery backup.
Yeah.
Like, they claimed it landed, and then less than 24 hours, the batteries go bad? No way.
No.
There's just no way.
They said, I did read a report, they said when it revolves around the sun, they hope it gets fully recharged.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so the sun would hit the solar panels. But,
like you're saying, it shouldn't have died as fast as it did.
It's an easy excuse for them to go.
So I already know what you're thinking. You're thinking that it picked up some signals or activity that they don't want to share.
Well, when the satellite was orbiting the comet, they picked up some strange faces in buildings similar to Mars.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Where people look at the photos.
I've never seen those.
Yeah, we'll have to look. You have to look them up on the internet. But they actually.
And everyone out there listening, what's the name of this comet?
It's Comet 67P. Okay,
so go Google images from Comet 67P.
Sure. No, they're out there. Yeah. So that's one problem I had. It was it bounced on its way down. Well, it's designed. It was designed. It's designed to bounce. Yeah. So how is that a problem?
Yeah.
And the radio bursts that NASA first picked up, you don't hear that. It's been orbiting this comet. The satellite's been orbiting this comet for a long time. How come you didn't hear new audio?
Yeah.
You get the old audio. So what are they hiding?
Before you say anything else, if there's like life on there, or if there's something coming from that comet, if that's orbiting for years, they had whatever was on there, whatever intelligence. I'm not saying it's like it could even be like a spiritual intelligence, maybe. It'd be prepared whenever that thing would land.
Oh yeah.
So
Well, of course. I mean, the reason they went up there is because of the noise it was making.
Yeah.
So that would be the first thing before even pictures. They would be analyzing.
Yeah.
This. Well, so the theories come out obviously because that's what we do here. We have our wild theories. So what I think maybe is that we're trying to reach aliens, right? With our with our satellites and our big radio telescopes and everything.
Fields of those satellites.
Right, they got fields of them. Then I was thinking, you got the comet. What travels around comets?
Yeah.
What if we put a radio on a comet, and that comet went around?
Yeah.
Blasting out a call signal.
So you're saying you don't even think there's aliens on there. You think aliens have technology on there already.
That's one possibility. That signal could be them signaling us.
Yeah.
Like a starter signal, like, here's, they would have had...
That's a good idea.
Yeah, they would have had the same technology as we do.
Why build a satellite when a comet's like a free satellite?
Right.
Free space traveler.
Yeah, exactly. So, instead of building a ship to go all over the universe because it's technically difficult,
use a comet.
Use a comet. It's brilliant. Simple. Brilliant. Why didn't we think about that before? It's always the simple ideas that are the best.
Yeah, they get overlooked.
Right, they get overlooked because they're too... So, the government, the United States government anyway, contends that this signal is just static. Well, comets don't have static.
No.
Like, it's not done.
And this is in the voids of space, too.
Right, and they could analyze the signal. And here's another great part. They estimate that the signal was sent 500 years ago. Like, that's how far the comet, like when they picked this up. So if there was a civilization out there that put
that on that comet,
right?
Perhaps it came from Earth.
Right. Well, there's another one too. There's
perhaps a ancient Earth civilization attached something to that comet 500 years ago, and comets always come back around.
Right. Well, that's true. Well, that's the origin of this comet. What is the origin of this comet? They have the same signal. They're picking up the same signal from the Kepler 186f solar system. You know how there's hundreds of billions of solar systems. We're the Milky Way.
Yeah.
There's 100 millions of stars. Well, there's a solar system out there, the Kepler 186f solar system.
And it comes from a different galaxy, right?
Right. The same signal from that comet is coming from that solar system.
Wow.
And that comet goes near that solar system. So, an advanced, and I'm not going to say aliens, I'm just going to say another civilization, which I guess would be aliens.
The Kepler system.
Right. Could have been sending out radio from their home planet and been like, hey, let's put it on a comet too.
Yeah.
So now they got radio waves coming from their planet, and they got from their, the more you have out there, the better chance, like the more satellites you put out. And the Kepler solar system, they estimated that the signal was sent 500 years ago. So whatever technology this civilization had, is the same we have now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
500 years ago, they would have been where we are technologically. Right about.
And, if there was a civilization, that has that on that comet, it could not only just be a radio signals. Maybe they're not trying to contact us. Maybe they're using them as a GPS tracking, like a beacon.
That's true.
Like, like cell towers. Maybe they have these comets with all these beacons on all. Maybe they have them on asteroids.
They could have them all over.
They come out everywhere, and they're like, that's how they communicate.
There might not even be a radio there. It might just be like, how we have cell phone towers?
Yeah, it'd be like a tower. So they could communicate amongst themselves throughout the whole universe.
So this comet 67P might not be the only one.
Yeah.
They could have put it on 100 comets and 100 satellites.
So you're hearing from Paranormal Roads, our theory is possibly they're not trying to even communicate with us. Maybe they got these things, these beacons, I'd say,
right,
or these towers on all kinds of structures. Maybe on the moon. Maybe they got stuff on Earth.
Oh, sure.
And maybe it's been destroyed. Maybe they had to come to Earth to destroy it because they knew we would have found it.
Oh yeah, that's totally possible.
Like maybe like when our civilization started getting more advanced, they're like, oh, we got to destroy the signal. They're gonna pick up the signal. Maybe it's on the moon or the asteroid belt.
Oh sure, it could. Comets go everywhere. Asteroids, planets. Who knows? Radio waves. They could be. They could have made contact with 20 different civilizations by now.
Oh, yeah.
Who knows?
But the purpose of them having all those towers on these comets and stuff means they're already here.
Yeah.
That's the only way it would work is if they were already around us.
They could be using our technology to send out signals.
Yeah.
They could be using our satellites. Like, remember Independence Day?
Yeah.
They used our satellites against us.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not using them against us. Maybe they're using them just to use them for their own purpose. They're bouncing them off our satellites and shooting them off.
Yeah.
They could be using all of our satellites and we wouldn't even know, sending out...
You always see it in the movies, those alien movies. You're watching, like, the news or your favorite show, and all of a sudden you see some guy go, I am some guy from this planet, I need to talk to your leader.
Yeah, you never know. But they're, like, whatever the civilization is immense. I mean, they're not pissing around. They really want to contact.
Yeah.
Or maybe they know people are out there. They're just, maybe that could be like you said, a relay defense system or GPS of some sort.
Yeah.
But
could be both.
Yeah.
Probably is both.
It could be.
Yeah.
It could be. Because we have, our computers are in the cloud. Like, all our information now is being kept on a cloud.
Yeah.
Which is really just all the computers combined, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Now they have these radio signals. You know how we think that aliens are here observing us?
Yeah.
All they got to do is tap into the cloud.
Yep.
Maybe that signal is tapping into the human cloud, and they know everything about us.
Yep.
They know they're on our Facebooks. They know when our class reunions are. They know where we live. They know our bank accounts.
Maybe
aliens might drain our bank accounts.
Maybe when that comet comes by, all it is maybe it's not even a tower. Maybe it's a receiver, and it comes by and it receives all information, and the signal is actually a type of technology that actually what's that word? It converts it into their technology.
Well, I'm going to blow your mind.
Converter.
We haven't talked about this show before today, right? Like, we just got together and we've been here for like a half an hour.
Yeah, I haven't seen you in a few weeks.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about the show. This is going to blow your mind.
All right.
Because this is where my theory really gets crazy. You know how I say the aliens could possibly be tapping into our internet.
Yeah.
Right? Guess what that signal is. Why do you think why would NASA deny anything? Cover up. Why would the European Space Agency, want to go after this so badly? When have they ever thought that far ahead for one little tiny object to spend that much time, that much money, effort, and energy to get there? Jack, guess what signal that is?
What?
The signal that is coming from the comet, that is coming from Kepler 186f, broadband. It is broadband.
Oh, wow.
20 years ago, we didn't have broadband. We just knew there was a signal.
Maybe we created broadband from...
Maybe we got the broadband from them.
Yeah.
Maybe we studied that. Maybe NASA's been studying that for 20 plus years. And they said they only found the comet 20 years ago.
Yeah.
They've been scanning the skies for how long? They could have had that same signal from the Kepler 186f solar system They could have been doing that for 40 years. They could have been analyzing.
Yeah.
The technology we have right now might have been picked up from NASA's radios, deciphered, and now we're using it.
Yeah.
With our internet. So
reverse technology.
That signal might be reverse technology already. We're looking at it as it's a new thing. The comet, we just found it. No, this has been going on for a long time. It's broadband.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that trippy?
Yeah.
Like, I see you're sitting here going, wow, that's...
Well, if they're going to spend that much time and effort on it, they want something in return.
Right.
So...
Well, why would NASA...
shut it down so quickly.
Right.
So...
Well, that's my other
point. They must have
I
found something...
Oh, yeah,
there must be something new they found.
It happened to fall in the hole, and we forgot to put extra battery. Yeah. After 12 hours, we can't get any signal.
Yeah, we hired some interns to do the launch, so...
No, what happened is... the interns... Monica Lewinsky was in there, and we kind of lost track of what was going on. And
it's cigar shades.
Somebody forgot to pull the zipper up. Turn the power on. But... So there you go. The U.S. government, oh yeah, don't worry about it, it's nothing. Cover up right off the bat.
Yeah. And why would they even have to cover it up? Because, a lot of people don't even look into this stuff. Maybe 40 years ago, but now people don't care about this stuff. And there's only people like you and I and our fans out there really look at science anymore.
Right. Well, it's easy... just to deny it, and then Jack and Mike, Paranormal Roads, they're just crazy.
Yeah,
they're just a bunch of hacks. But that's what are you gonna do? I mean, that's the way it goes. They're using alien broadband technology against us, Jack.
Jeez,
no, I don't believe that, but so yeah, so there's other satellites. I mean, we have military satellites, right? What do we use them for?
Tracking,
intelligence gathering, navigation, GPS, like you said. Military communications, right? Which is ridiculous because anybody could tap into any radio. The Chinese know exactly where we are. The Russians know exactly where. Did you see 2 days ago? It's November 24th or 25th, 2014. Like 2 days ago, the Secretary of Defense came out and say that China can shut down our entire electrical grid.
Well, did you know he was fired today?
And then he was fired 2 days later.
Is that why? I watched that live today. He was fired.
Yeah. And you tell me. I haven't been on the internet to read about that, but it makes sense to me.
Did you know what just happened today, though?
No. Besides him getting fired?
Yeah, something else big happened. That deals with satellites, because you and I haven't talked for weeks, but Russia just launched a satellite with ground-controlled devices on it. So people are speculating that it's a type of weapon. It's not just a satellite. And then some politicians were saying, oh, they just need the ground control because they have to fix their... because they got the orbiter up there. What's that called? With all the astronauts up there?
Oh, it's just International Space Station?
Yeah, they said, oh, that's satellites for the International Space Station.
Right.
But they're like... But a lot of people are like, why did they send that up? So what's Russia doing now?
Yeah, I don't know.
And this is all coming after... This is within weeks of that satellite landing on that comet.
A coincidence? I don't think so. I think there has been a satellite arms race for a long time, but our technology has taken off leaps and bounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I was younger, they had record players. Now there's, everything's in the cloud. That's a ridiculous leap of technology. You remember the government has that secret project. Man, I wish I would have wrote that down. But it's the mini space shuttle. It's like a space shuttle, but it's a third of the size.
Okay.
And it orbited Earth for like a year and a half.
Oh, I never heard of that.
Yeah. Oh, you never even heard of that?
No.
They have a mini. It's it looks exactly like a space shuttle. It's 1/3 the size, and it's unmanned. It's computerized, and they send it up to space. They don't tell anybody what's in it, what it's doing, but it's been in orbit for a long time, and it just recently came down like a couple months ago.
Oh, yeah, I never heard of that.
So we have that. That's the new. That's why I think they got. This is the reason I think they got rid of the space shuttle, is because it's just too expensive, and after time, the U.S. government decided it's just too costly and too big of a pain in the butt to send men, because there's just too much.
The technology now, they got the drones.
With the drones,
you can send a drone into space now.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. It's a space drone.
So
henceforth, paranormalroads.com will be calling that the space drone.
Yeah, we mark it here, the space drone.
Space drone.
You've got drones, and now you got space drones.
And it's been going for a couple of years. You'll have to check it out. I wish I would have wrote down the name of it. I did not.
Do you have any other topics with satellites, or?
Wow, not really. Well, like you said, one other thing. How the Russians might be using their satellites.
Yeah.
Years ago, I seen video and picture of in the western United States of a giant laser being shot, and this came out about the time this mini space drone, space shuttle looking thing. So I'm thinking the United States is even using the laser technology.
Yeah. Back in the 80s, Reagan said wars are going to be fought in space.
Star Wars.
Yeah, he said that back in 81, I believe.
Yeah, so it's what? 30 years, 35 years late? But I think we have it.
Oh, and if the president was talking about it, then he was leaking. He was definitely leaking technology that he knew wasn't available yet, that he probably never would have seen, so he didn't care.
But what do we
leak it? So it's 30 years later now, so it might be getting closer to being plucked from the tree.
So what are we defending against? Are we defending against humans? Are we defending against comet people?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. There's a need for weapons in space. We don't know what it is, but we. I asked you what show we're doing, and we didn't talk for weeks.
Nope.
And I have one last topic with satellites. This is what I wrote. There's this project. It's called Project HARP. It's located in Alaska.
Right.
And the U.S. government, they got 60 antennas up there. They spent about $30 million on this.
Right. What's that do?
What it does is it creates ELF waves.
Right.
Which are very low frequency waves.
Right.
You know what an ELF wave does is it actually, these are the waves the human brain picks up.
Right.
So the human brain runs on low frequencies, and the one thing that the ELF wave does is it'll take a radio frequency. You see, we're talking about radio frequencies with a comet. It will penetrate bricks and mortar and earth.
Right.
You could use this ELF wave to carry a radio frequency. Let's say you want to send a frequency from a satellite to a submarine at the bottom of the ocean.
Right.
Most radio signals, won't go that far.
Right, exactly.
But the ELF wave will take it.
Oh, I see.
So that for communications. Now, there's a lot of people, they're like, okay, they're spending that much money on just that. This is a very dangerous idea. A lot of people. No, I mean, look, I'm going to tell you now. So if it runs on low frequencies,
right, the
human brain runs on low frequencies, and some examples of frequencies are alpha waves, delta waves, and these are just named frequencies because the way an alpha wave will make the brain react differently.
Wait a minute. If I remember correctly, doesn't alpha waves, like when you go in, you know how you got the stages of sleep?
Yeah.
Isn't that a stage, alpha wave, where your brain turns into alpha waves when you sleep?
Well, delta wave is your sleep.
Delta.
Yeah, when you sleep, so if you listen to delta waves, you actually get tired.
Ah.
So an alpha wave will actually make you focus more.
Right.
So if people that want to study and stuff, they'll listen to alpha waves. That makes them concentrate and focus.
Yeah.
And there's, they don't even know all the ways. You know how, like, the human genome, like, they've mapped it, like, 10 years ago?
Yeah.
So, let's say the government has mapped the human brain's frequencies, and they know everything, every frequency the human brain reacts to.
Yeah, they would know.
And then they say they send these elf waves to a satellite, they can brainwash every person in the country. They could
maybe make everybody go to sleep at once.
Yeah, or they could take one person and shoot a frequency at someone, make them murder someone.
Ah, interesting.
If you had a wave to control someone, or maybe they can read our thoughts.
Right. Interesting, Jack. They have,
because all of your brain waves it's a wave.
It would be the next gen. You know how they have them machines? They put them on tanks. If there's a crowd dispersal where they shoot that, and they shoot it at. They have a cannon, sort of. It looks like a big speaker, and they shoot it at a crowd, and it disrupts the frequencies disrupt your eardrums.
Yeah.
And it makes people disperse. This would be the next generation of that. They can do that globally, all at the same time, to whoever they want, not just a group combined group of people.
Yeah. Now, there's two stories that came out within the last year, which kind of prove these theories.
What's that?
The NSA leaks.
Right.
All right, now, is the NSA also reading our minds, reading our thoughts? Are they using these elf waves from these satellites to pick up what everyone's thinking? Maybe just what you're typing online is not what they're looking at. Maybe they're actually looking at people's brain waves.
Could be.
Maybe they're recording all of our brain waves.
Wow.
And
Trippy.
you know, it doesn't take much data. Your brainwave, you could store it on like a small data. It doesn't take a lot of it. It's so low frequency. You could store hundreds of billions of people's thoughts on a smaller data service.
Wow. You heard it here first, folks. ParanormalRoads.com.
Yeah.
I mean, whoever thought? People thought satellites were just to take pictures of the moon. Now they've gone all the way. You got to keep ahead when it comes to governments around the world, the Bilderbergers. You got to keep ahead. You got to know what's next. They could be tapping in here right now.
I mean, think about it. That's some useful information. If they had that technology in, say, World War II, what if the U.S. government zeroed in a satellite, used GPS, got Hitler's head, and knew what he was thinking before he did it?
Hey, that Kim Jong-il, didn't he just go missing?
Yeah.
Did they find him? Maybe they zapped him.
Maybe they did. And here's another story that happened, I don't know if it was a year ago. Remember that one U.S. Navy guy that said he was hearing voices in his head?
Yeah.
And then he said he heard people telling him to do things, and he said it was coming from a satellite, from a government satellite,
Yeah,
and then he went and killed people, and then he killed himself at the U.S. Navy.
Wow. No, I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that was the reason.
Yeah, he actually went to the police. He tried to turn himself in. He tried to get psychiatric help. He tried to get help. He moved to a different hotel every day for 3 days. And everywhere he went, he couldn't escape the voices in his head. And he said it was from the U.S. government, from a secret. He said it was from the satellites. He said he was getting information to do things from the U.S. government. So
Government mind control.
yeah,
That's pretty trippy. When I sat down to write this thing about satellites, I had no idea we were going to go to, mind control by governments. Oof.
And
Scary.
Can you imagine if we went to war and another, say, Russia, mind controlled all the U.S. citizens to attack their own government?
Crazy.
Or you could end the war. You could roll the world.
Yeah, they might get away with it.
And Russia just sent that satellite. What are they doing?
Jeez, man. Maybe we should run for office, Jack. Maybe if we become president and vice president, we can stop this evil agenda.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's trippy though.
Yeah.
Trippy. And then they have the cell phone towers, and you've heard that some of the cell phone towers are fake. They're not really owned by AT&T or Ma Bell. They're owned by the government. Hey, It looks like a regular cell phone tower. What are they using it for? spy on you.
Well, you know, they got movables. They got these devices now too. They got movable towers like police use. They'll instead of your phone going to an actual tower, it'll go to the police station.
Wow.
And then they can listen to your calls. It's kind of like eavesdropping, but the technology is so advanced, nobody knows they're being spied on.
Wow.
So
you can't even say, "Hey, get rid of your laptops and your computers and your phones," because they'll just tap right into your brain.
yeah.
There's no escape.
and they're actually building thought control helmets right now. So
X-Men.
I mean, look at the thought control where the monkeys are moving the prosthetics.
Yeah.
I mean, they've already mapped a lot of these frequencies. Already mapped. So if there's a lot of power in thought. So if they can map every frequency of the brain, let's say someone has that.
Yeah, you're talking.
You know, what every little, it's like playing the piano.
Right. Computers run by vibration and waves. Computers run by waves. You know, people are afraid that, you know, humans and computers are going to get too intertwined.
Yeah.
They're scared of that. They might be doing it to you already. You don't even know.
Well, I know we might have lost some people with this stuff. It's real technical, but I want to say is the way to think about this: go to a horror movie.
Right.
Horror movies have music that have vibrations in it that make people get scared.
Right.
And if you listen to the sound, you put a shell to your ear at the beach, you hear the waves and stuff. It's relaxing. Certain sounds, your body reacts to sounds. That's the whole thing with frequencies. A sound it affects your body, it affects your brain, affects the way you feel, your mood, the way you do things. If you hear screeching on the board, it makes you get scared.
A lot of it's primal.
It's a primal thing, which means it goes down to the core of your being. It's a frequency in your brain. It's already there. There's a map for it. Everything has a purpose. Every sound has a purpose. So
when you go to movies, like you said, you go to horror movies, you're inviting, even paying
to be scared.
You want that response.
Yeah.
But if there are governments out there tapping into your brain, that's unwanted.
Yeah.
That's illegal search and seizure. Really.
But you know what they're saying?
Taken to the next level.
They're like, people don't know about this stuff, so they're going to do it anyway.
Right.
So
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's true.
But I don't have anything else to say on Saturday.
No, that was great. I didn't know we were going to hit all them different topics.
Right.
We could have done like 4 different shows there.
Yeah. But I think it's a wrap.
All right. Sounds good to me, Jack.
This is Jack. We listen to Paranormal Roads. Go to paranormalroads.com. And
check out the Alien Search Guide on the Google or the Yahoo, whatever your search engine is.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Have a good one.